welcome back to Brews and Books. I'm your host, Camille, and today we're going to be talking about the last 10 book tag. So let's get right into the beer that I have today. So it's going to be a double IPA out of Texas, and so it is called Mystery of the Deep, and it is from Barrow Brewing Company. Barrow Brewing. Let's just go with that. So it is, like I've said before, brewery out of Texas, and so I've never been. It is in Salado, which I'm not too sure on distance from where I live, from Austin to Salado. I don't know. Don't like pronouncing things. But I'm super excited to try it. This is my first time trying it, and we're going to enjoy it. Okay? Okay. Cheers, friends. As you can see, it's a nice little caramel color and nice little head to it, head is just foam at the top. So really good. Let's give it a taste. It's so good. So very much an IPA. But it isn't your typical like extreme IPAs. A lot of people drink the really, really strong IPAs that kind of have a lot more bitterness to it. And so this one has just the right amount of bitterness. But I can get from it some hints of chocolate, just some softer notes of something sweet. And so I get chocolate. Seems like I always get chocolate, but don't worry. Sometimes I don't get chocolate. But it's really good. I like it a lot. It's light enough for an IPA that you can enjoy it and have a couple of them. And being that this is a double, so it's like 9.2% ABVU. Pretty darn good. All right, so let's get into the book tag. Question number 1. What is the last book you gave up on? The last book I gave up on, currently I'm getting ready to give up on a book, but haven't really bitten the bullet yet. But for sure the last book that I gave up on is The Witch's Daughter by Paula Braxton. I like reading about witches. Just do. And so this one I was super excited about. I was like, oh, it's going to be really involved, and I'm going to really enjoy the characters, really enjoy the plot. Especially, the plot was really good. I was like, this is a good premise. Let's read it. And I started reading. I was like, okay, we're getting into it. Slow-mo. And then I was like, oh, God, it's really slow-mo. So I made it, almost halfway into the book, and that's when it started to pick up. And I was like, I don't think I can sit any longer to read the rest of it, because it was a slow pickup. It wasn't a quick pickup like some books do. So I have this one and the second one on my bookshelf, and high chance it might get unhauled very soon. Question number 2. What is the last book that I reread? So this is a question that I can't answer, because technically I haven't reread a book recently. So I have not reread a book, but I'm in the process of getting ready to reread a book. I have a friend that I have recently got hooked on this book. He is usually a nonfiction kind of guy, and so I was like, hey, you should read this this fiction book that I've got for you. And so he bought the book and he started it this week. And because he bought the book this week and started it, I was like, you know what? I honestly need to have this book in my collection. It was one of my favorites for 2018. I went and bought the book. So without further ado, Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. This is my favorite 2018 read, hands down. It is a psychological thriller. I loved it. I'm excited about starting to reread this, and I'm super excited about having my friend read it. And it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good, folks. If you like psychological thriller movies, TV shows, you just might like this one. So yeah. Question number 3. What is the last book I've bought? You guessed it. Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. Question number 4. What is the last book you said you would read but actually didn't? I'm not a liar. Just kidding. I'm kidding. Look, I am very, very straightforward to people, like what I have read, what I haven't read. And so with this question, I've never lied about saying that I've read a book when I haven't actually read it. If I haven't read it, I'm going to say, hey, I didn't read this. And then they might argue with me and like, why haven't you? It's so good. And be like, calm down, take a breath. Maybe I'll get to it. Question number 5. So this is the last book that I wrote in the margins in. I haven't written in margins since high school. And I don't even think I really wrote in them then, but that would have been the last time. Oh, actually, I'm a liar. Oh my gosh. Wow. So probably last year or the year before that, my best friend had Rupi Kaur's books, The Sun and Her Flowers. Pretty sure what that's called. It's really bad. But she wrote in the book and let me write in the book and the poetry, and so I did. So I definitely have written in the margins recently. Let's see. The last book that you had signed. So the last book that I had signed was Well-Read Black Girl. And if, for those of you who don't know, Well-Read Black Girl is a collection of short stories. It's really an anthology about different women of color, specifically African American women, who have written about their lives, kind of how they've gotten started into their careers, kind of how they felt about this life in general, and who has influenced them to get to where they are now in their lives, as well as, anything else that has shaped them, based on parents or where they've lived, the experiences they've had. So this is so good. I enjoyed it so much. I sped through it. Like, I read a couple of stories every night before I went to bed, and it was super inspiring. This book really, really inspired me to start reading a lot more African-American authors. And I'm just so stoked. I'm so glad that this is on my shelf. But to the point, I got this signed last year at the Texas Book Festival here in Austin. And I was super glad to be on the panel to listen to Glory and Danielle. Question number 7. What is the last book I lost? So the last book I lost was last year, and it was Fahrenheit 451. I was living at home at the time, and I was in the process of getting ready to move, and I was like, where's my book? I want to make sure I have my book. And as well, the Fahrenheit 451 TV show was coming on, and I was like, I have to reread it in time for the TV show so I can watch it. So it was lost to the depths, and I couldn't find it. So I was like, okay, whatever. I'll just order a new copy and go from there. It was like some of the new editions were really cute. I shouldn't say really cute, but they were really, really nice. And I said, we're just going to get a new one. Not a big deal. My mom had shown up with a book. She was like, Camille, were you looking for this? I was like, yes, Mom. Yes, I was. I think it got lost in her books. She is an English major, and she loves everything books. So she has like a crap ton of books on a shelf in boxes. And so she found it in her mini mini books. So that is the last book that I actually lost. Question number 8. What's the last book you had to replace? Fahrenheit 451. So I'm going to actually show you guys what my original Fahrenheit 451 looks like. And then the current one. So this is my original Fahrenheit 451. So super cute. I love this anniversary edition. It's the 50th. As you can tell, I wrote my name in it. Didn't want anybody to steal it. It was my pride and joy. So love this book. Super good. It's still in pristine shape. And the one that I bought next was this one, which is also a really pretty cover. I love it. I have not written my name on the edges because I'm an adult. It's the only book that I've had to replace. For the most part, I'm very good about keeping up with my books. Question number 9. What is the last book I argued over? So I haven't argued over any books quite yet. I am looking forward to my first push and pull when it comes to discussing a book. And so I haven't had a full-fledged argument. A lot of people, I think last year, were reading the graphic novel Sex Criminals, which, I mean, granted, wasn't that great in my opinion, but I still enjoyed it enough because I was like, I'm gonna keep it and I'm gonna keep reading on. But there was a lot of people who kind of finished it and they were just like, this is stupid and this sucks. And I'm like, well, I mean, yeah, but let's talk about it. So the last question number 10, good old 10, is what is the last book you could not find? Can you guys take a guess what book that is? If not, let me tell you. Fahrenheit 451. Thank you guys for joining me on this adventure. Just know Fahrenheit 451, that's my book. Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, that's my book. But let me know down in the comments what your last book you couldn't find, or your last 10 whatever books. Let me know. Thank you guys for listening to my TED Talk. Thank you for enjoying this beer with me. And I hope you guys have a great one. Here's to beer and books. Bye, guys.